welcome to another episode of Hooks, Knits, and Dice. I'm Leela Croca. Sorry about the long hiatus. The lockdown thing got me down for a while, but you can't keep a good woman down for long, so here I am again. Had some family drama, still having a little family drama, but I'm rising above it. I don't believe I've been this healthy mentally since I was an innocent. I'm really pleased with the progress I'm making. Leaps and bounds, people, I gotta tell you. So, if anybody ever wants to talk about mental health, I'm so up for that because I would love to share what I've learned and be there for people who need someone to lean on, to rant to, whatever it is, I'm there. The title of this episode is Documentary because on Instagram I was contacted by three film students from Oslo who wanted to know if they could do a short documentary about me. They had seen an article about me in the local newspaper and were fascinated by my art and my being goth, and they really just wanted to use me as their homework, I guess. I've never had anything like this requested of me before, and I of course said yes because I love helping students of any kind. Whoops, I kicked the camera. For any reason. So of course I said yes, and they came over. Wasn't last weekend, it was the weekend before, I believe. And they were here on Saturday and Sunday during the day. We went to the local forest that surrounds a quarry, and Tommy and I harvested forest berries, moss, heather, and pine cones, which is my first time husting, which is harvesting in Norwegian. And so that was, well, it was my second time. Well, okay, sorry. It was my first time picking the berries, but the day prior, it was my first time husting, period. Whereas I was sitting on a nice slanted rock and I was cleaning the berries while they picked them, so that they were nice and clean. We could put them in the buckets and sell them, and that was nice. So the girls were so lovely, such lovely young ladies, and I really feel like they knew what they were doing. They had good equipment. They asked really, I'm trying to think of the word, questions that really made me dig deep and think before answering. They weren't just, fluff. It wasn't a fluff piece. There was a lot of discussion about my mental health and, our marriage, Tommy and my marriage, because we just had our anniversary in August, the 17th. Hey, I love our anniversary because it's 17/8/17. So easy to remember. I kind of did that with Omar when I married him. I did 6/5 of '04. I figure why not make it easy on ourselves? But yeah, Tommy and I went to Bergen for our anniversary trip. We're trying to take a trip each year, whether it's a staycation or a big one, like we went to the Mineral Park. And we had a lot of fun. I'd never been to Bergen before. I loved the seafood there. It was so good. The aquarium was cool. There was an axolotl, and I had never seen one in person before. I've only seen them on TV. And I find it strange that a creature that dwells in Mexican caves somehow ended up in a reptilian section of an aquarium in Norway, clearly halfway around the world and in a different hemisphere, I believe, depending on where you find them. So yeah, the Bergen trip was amazing. Can't wait to go back. We did, of course, practice social distancing and wore masks when needed to, and the hotel was decent. It really was. Oh, the bed. It was almost like our bed, so you know how it's always hard to sleep in a strange bed, but the hotel was great. We were at the Clarion Admiral, I think, something like that. And we had a really good time in Bergen. It rained insanely in the morning the first day. Well, we came in the evening, stayed a day, and then left in the afternoon the next day. And we just had so much fun. It was ridiculous. And then he took me on we drove up one way, and I saw my first stave church, which is like the old wooden churches that they built. And we got a private tour because the docent was just kind of by herself chilling. It was an overcast day, and we just happened to stop for a break, and we're like, hey, let's check out the stave church. And so we got a private tour, and we got to ask all the questions we wanted and take all these pictures, and It was a lot of fun, and we saw no less than 10 different signs for stave churches. We went to see four, I think, out of the 10. I really didn't expect to see so many stave churches, let alone in one trip, so that was exciting. And then after we've been back, Tommy and I went down to the Crow's Nest, my art studio, and cleaned all that up, and I will be down there filming again soon. But today I'm filming obviously in our living room because I didn't want to haul everything down there. We had a busy weekend. Our niece and Tommy's brother came to visit us this weekend. So Alana and I, that's her name, built a haunted mansion with fairy lights in it that were tucked into cardboard boxes that had portraits with the eyes cut out. So it looked like windows that had a spooky character in each one, and the fairy lights made their eyes glow. It was pretty cool, if I do say so myself. It's a USB powered, or rather the connection is USB. I just kicked the camera again, my apologies. So yeah, she can plug in a USB power bank, and she can run the fairy lights for freaking ever on one of those. And then the top two in the gables, we didn't have enough fairy lights. there were 12 windows and 10 lights. Yeah. And we used one of them to make a porch light. And if you guys check out my TikTok, Lila Croca, it's all one word. Actually, all my social media tries to be Lila Croca. But anyway, if you check that out, you will see a video of the haunted mansion, both in the light and with the lights out and just having the fairy lights going. And there's a smoke effect that came with, it's a filter. I didn't actually have any incense or anything going. We also built the rest of the little village. So we had a grocery store, a pharmacy, a library, a cafe, and the clock tower. So that's all you need for a little bitty village, right? And a haunted mansion at the end of the road. It was a lot of fun. I have a whole bunch of gothic themed scrapbook paper that I brought with me from the US, and I haven't had an occasion to use it much, so I'm like, you know what, let's dig in. And we even happen to have, let me see if I can find it really easily. I can. Some paper that looked like roofing. So that was great. We got to make the roofs, and we made a different style of roof for each building, and I'm really pleased with how they turned out because they were just out of the box. I mean, no pun intended. We used cardboard boxes from coffee boxes and medicine boxes and things like that. The mansion itself is an electronic mouse catcher, Tommy?
I think it has bait.
Okay, it has bait. So it was a mouse trap, but it's got a sloped roof, and then it's, straight back and then down. So it's kind of like a trapezoid, I believe. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, so it was the perfect shape for a mansion. We just carved out windows and popped in. I don't have any of the boxes handy, but they're little, they're like breath mints, but they're gummy and with a candy coating on the outside, and they're peach flavored. So we just covered them all up with scrapbook paper, and then we got our little haunted village, and it was so cute. We printed out signs in Norwegian for the different buildings, and we printed out pumpkins because she wanted to put pumpkins by the buildings. And then the top of the library has a little wrought iron, made of paper of course, kind of a fencing, scaffolding kind of thing. It's really pretty. We used clip art like crazy, and we used pictures of famous paintings, and we manipulated them in Photoshop. So like Girl with Pearl Earring became Vampire with Pearl Earring. She had pale white skin, blood red lips with a trail of blood dripping down from one of her fangs. It's super cute. Excuse me. I am almost finished with the Emma Liliana doll I started last year for Christmas for Emma Liliana. One of a pair of our friends had a daughter, and they named her after Liliana Vess. Her name is Emma Liliana. This is Liliana Vess. This is the doll. I made the leg way too tiny and thin, but the dress is what you... Oh, camera's over here, Corey. The dress is what you want to focus on. The color is not right. It looks blue on that screen. It's actually a very grapey purple, but it's complete with a ball of necrotic fire and And listen to this. Aha, she's a squeaky Liliana, and her arms are posable, as you can see. So yeah, once I get the leg finished on that, then I will be finishing the, I want to call it a throw blanket for Mom's cabin. It's butterfly granny squares. So that's really pretty, and I'm sure I've shown it to you guys before, but it's been so long since I've worked on it. I don't remember if I've shown it to you guys yet, so I will be showing it next week because I will be finishing this tomorrow, and so I'll be working this week on finishing the granny square blanket for Mom. And then I have a basket full of projects over the past 3 years that I've been working on off and on, and I have vowed not to begin a new crochet or yarn or knit project before the basket is empty, because I really need to get all that stuff made. I've been giving some of the things that we've made that didn't sell at the Christmas market to friends who have just had babies, and because it's just sitting in the closet waiting for somebody to love them, so we give them to them, and I hope they enjoy them. Congratulations again to Frederick and Lena for their new baby. And Stephen Simon's girl is 1 year old. I can't even believe it. She's walking, possibly running, probably being a terror, as kids that age are. And let's see. Oh, we've started playing Magic the Gathering and, of course, D&D and Pathfinder in person again. A couple of weeks back, I rolled 7 nat 20s on a single die in one evening. I don't even have words for that. I don't know how I managed it, but I made up for it in the Pathfinder session that week, where all of our dice rolls just tanked. Oh my gosh, the nat ones, woo! It's like, okay, universe, I get it, balance, we get it. But, oh, I made this shawl, jumping from subject to subject, for Trina Lockery, my bestie from Boise. It is a, let's see, there we go. Now I'm getting, oh, it's backwards, that's what it is. It's facing me. This is a dragon wing lace shawl. The original pattern is called Lizard, and it's in German, and you can find it on Ravelry. And she picked the yarn and picked the pattern, and I made her this shawl because she's sending me some fabric that I had ordered so that I could go this summer to cosplay at a convention in Boise, but then the lockdown hit and I couldn't go. So she's sitting there with all of my fabric, and she's like, well, I'll send it to you. And I'm like, well, then let me do something in return. She's like, crochet me a shawl. And so I've crocheted her this dragon wing shawl, and it's just gorgeous. I love the colors. I love the patterns. If I could hold it in front of the camera, that'd be swell. And then I'm also going to scrimshaw a crab shell so that she can pin with basically what I'm using is a bamboo chopstick. I'm going to lacquer it in black and of course cut it in half, and then she can use that with the scrimshaw crab shell to hold the shawl in place around her neck. So that's going to be beautiful. But I have a lot of tidying up to do. We're not quite finished with the guest room, which is where I keep some of my art supplies. So we need to finish that up. And of course I've got some stuff laying around the living room because we were crafting all weekend. But once I get all that mess cleaned up, then I can work on the scrimshaw. I have made some personalized stationery. See how well it shows up. You can see at the bottom here, oops, it's got the Hennefus Gothic Arts logo on it, and it's got my name up there with the pretty, and there's crows flying all around. So I've been working with Adobe Creative Cloud basically because I use both Photoshop and Illustrator at this point. And Tommy bought me Classroom in a Book, my favorite Adobe series. Love it, love it. Started it in college with Photoshop, and he was kind enough to get it for me. But when it arrived, we were missing 17 pages from the beginning of the book. It was a glitch. We contacted them and they sent us another copy, and this one had all its pages, but yeah, for some reason that one printing had page 3 to 19 missing. It was crazy. So, yeah, I want to order a personalized seal for sealing wax because I have a shop for signing things like paintings and that sort of thing. But when I want to seal a letter, I like to use sealing wax, and I have, let's see, is it in here? I think it is, yes. I have this cherub that I have had. Let's see if it'll focus. Focus. Yeah, you can kind of see it. So I've had this cherub since 1996. And I think it's time to update. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting for the money in order to get my personalized seal, I'm taking a ring that I have. No idea where it is right now. Oh, there it is. Ha! So it's a pair of wings. And I will have my cherub upside down because I'm totally goth. And then I'll have the wings on either side of the cherub, and that's my seal. It's going to be huge for right now, but it's going to be nothing like what I want my seal to actually be. So I don't have a spoon to melt the wax on, but years ago I was given on my 23rd birthday, I want to say, this lovely dragon, which is, you're supposed to put water in the bowl with a little bit of essential oil, and it's a diffuser, but it also works great at melting my sealing wax. So it's kind of a MacGyvered situation until I get a proper melting spoon and, you know, the seal that I want, the personalized seal, which will be the wolf feather heart that I designed a few years back. But it'll work for now. It works in a pinch. Let me set that down before I break anything. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, yes. I'm in a group on Facebook for women who live in Norway and or are of Norwegian descent. And we're doing an ornament exchange for Christmas because of mailing from Norway to the US, if that's where, I don't know who my partner is yet. Because of the mailing time, I'm going to finish this ornament right now, like this week, and then send it off to her. So this is a basket that I braided and wove out of Norwegian marsh reeds. And then I glued some feathers that I got from Wish into the basket and stuffed a little bit of batting in it. And it's a nest for a fairy. Oh, still not pointing at the camera. So those are the wings. And this is her head. I felted around a doll head, an old paper mache doll head. You can see the sunflower that I made. And there's a fern that's kind of hard to see, but... And then, of course, I felted her face. Her eyelashes are made from fringe of peacock feathers. And the little antennae are actually cake decoration tops. Little cupcake decoration things. It's kind of hard to see because it's white. And then, of course, I've got some lacy bias tape. And the white hair is just white doll hair that I've had since 2006, maybe. It's about time I used it. I just hot glued it on to the felted head. And then, of course, her eyebrows are insane. They're these big yellow curly things. Oh, there, you can see that. And then, yeah, so she's felted using a felting needle. I think I've shown you guys that I've been working with that. So she'll be sitting in the basket with a little dress made of some jersey knit butterfly fabric, which is really hard to show you right now. And then she'll have these giant wings behind her, and she will be a Christmas ornament for whoever my exchange partner is. So I hope she'll enjoy it. It's not terribly Christmassy, but I do have in that basket down there, so I can't get to them, some really, really small jingly bells that I'm going to attach to her ears. So hopefully that'll be Christmassy enough. And I think that's all I've got for this week. Uh, we didn't get to play D&D yesterday, but hopefully we'll get back to it this week. Pathfinder last week. I'm trying to remember.
You weren't there.
I wasn't there. Was I not feeling well?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to get that surgery finally, hopefully. I mean, they sent me a letter saying they want to see me in November. I told them about the pain last August, as in August of last year. And in February, they did an exam and determined I have carpal tunnels in both wrists and that I needed surgery. And then they finally sent me a letter today. Well, it arrived today that they need to see me in November. So wish me luck. I'm hoping they'll do the right arm first so that it heals quicker, and because it's my main arm, you know, I am ambidextrous, but I mostly work with my right hand. And then I'm hoping they'll do the left one not long after the right one heals, because it's to the point like today my arm was completely useless. The pain was in under my armpit, up here, up to my fingertips. It was basically a lump of flesh. I couldn't use it. It hurt so badly. Thank goodness I have strong pain medicine that I can take, but I try to take that sparingly because my body likes to go, "Oh, you're taking strong meds? Okay, that'll work once." you know? So anyway, but yeah, the family's happy here. We're healthy. We have baby chiles. We've got 2 different kinds of chile plants, and they're growing in spite of us because we keep forgetting to water them, and it's getting cold out there, and we just had to bring them in. But they are thriving, so hopefully we'll have some chiles that we can either preserve or eat fresh. Pretty excited about that. Halloween, I'm going to try to make a fairy costume, and let's see, what else is there? I think that's about it. Anyway, if I think of more, I'll tell you guys next week. It's 9 p.m. here, so I don't know if anyone would be available for the after show today, but once I get the HCAT episode uploaded to YouTube, I will give like a half an hour notice, see if anybody wants to join me for the after show, and we can talk about what I discussed in the video here today. So thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day.